Hey guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. So today we bring to you updates on Baba Ijesha's case. Recalling that earlier this month there was a sitting to do a trial within trial case on Baba Ijesha's confession at the police station, and the sitting for that was set for December 15th, which was like 2 days ago. On sitting on December 15th, the DPP statement, the defense counsel Mr. Kayode Olabere, announced to the court that the defense team, that is the Baba Ijesha's team, intend to file a no-case submission. The judge said that will be for next year, as the court is already rounding up for 2021, so there's no room to fix any other date for this no-case submission. For this, the court ruled on the confession statement made by the defendant to the police. Justice Taiwo, who presided over this with the judge, held that the confession is admissible as evidence. That is what the defendant of Baba Ijesha are saying, that is his team are saying, that he gave the confession on that duress, he was beaten and was subjected to torture. But then, after so much investigation and making sure that all due protocols are observed, she ruled that there was no evidence before the court that proved that the Nollywood actor, that is Baba Ijesha, was tortured into giving the statement to the police. Rather, gave the statement confessing it by himself, saying it as it is, that he was beaten or tortured. Then she also noted that there was no corroboration to the defendant's claim that a police officer, one Inspector Abigail Onmani, had promised to set him free if he owned up the allegations. She described as an afterthought the defendant's application, stating the same. This simply means that Baba Ijesha, after he had given a statement that he did this and did that, then when his lawyer was able to get hold of all of the things that had gone on before he was called into the matter, there was a statement made that Abigail Onmani, that is the inspector who was in charge, that took his confession, I told him that Baba Ijesha cooperate, say that you do this thing. Once you say it will set you free. But now the ruling of the court is that there was nothing like that. No corroboration between the defendant and the police officer. He gave this based on what he wanted to give, not that he was promised anything to be set free or whatsoever as claimed. And that is the reason why it is described and considered as an afterthought by Baba Ijesha. Then the other thing that the defendant's team, that is Baba Ijesha's team, considered as torture was the fact that they told him to sit on the floor and he was shaking, and there was no how he would be able to give statement under this condition. Judge then made it known that sitting on the floor does not vitiate the confession statement. The statement is found to be relevant and admissible, the judge had said. That is, whether you were told to sit on the floor or not, it doesn't mean that you were being tortured or being beaten. Just sitting on the floor cannot rule out the fact that this statement is relevant and it is admissible. So after this, the prosecution witness, that is the inspector that took down the statement, the police officer told the court that she had taken the evidence of the defendant. She had taken all the parties in the case to the office of the DPO. Thereafter, the case was transferred to the State Criminal Investigation Department, SCID, Banti, while being cross-examined by Olabere. Olabere is in Baba Ijesha's team. The police officer, the inspector rather, threw more light on why the defendant's shirt was torn when he was brought to the police station. As mentioned earlier, the defendant, that is Baba Ijesha's team, had said that Baba Ijesha was beaten, his clothes was torn, he was subjected to sit on the floor before he could give that statement, and that is the reason why the statement was considered to be given under duress. Then this police officer now made it known that, see, by the time Baba Ijesha was getting to the station, his clothes were already torn. And Baba Ijesha made this known that he was beaten from Princess's place and nobody raised any hand against him at the police station. The inspector Abigail said the survivor told us that she was the one that beat him. There was no report of harassment of the complainant at the police station. I am not aware if the police were informed prior to the installation of the closed-circuit CCTV at the complainant's house, she said. This was some of the statement that she made, that is the inspector, when she was being cross-examined at the court. Recalling that at the last hearing on November 19, the defense, led by Babatunde Ogalasan and Dada Oshika, had objected to the confession statement of Baba Ijesha on grounds that it was not voluntarily given. This was when the judge Justice Taiwo had granted their request for a trial within trial to determine the voluntariness of the statement same day and adjourned for the adoption of the written address after the trial. Mr. Washika, citing Section 35(1) of the Evidence Act, argued that in criminal matters there are two burdens of proof, adding one can change and the other doesn't change. He said the defendant had put forward facts to substantiate use of oppression. He said in his words, and I quote, "It is for the court to look at evidence by the defendant that he was handcuffed, beaten and forced to sit on the ground. Does that not qualify as an evidence of oppression?" Further cited Section 29 subsection 5 of the Evidence Act, saying even from the prosecution's evidence the defendant was sitting on the floor and shaking. One cannot make statement under that condition. Quote, then he urged the court to contend the submission of the prosecution. On hearing this from the DPP side, Sule contended that there was no evidence before the court that the defendant was oppressed while making his confession or that he was degraded. Mrs. Sule told the court that the defendant himself told the court that he was beaten before he was brought to the police station, which means it was a mob attack from which he was rescued. Sule continued and pointed out the contrary to the claim of the defendant, there was nowhere in his confession statement where the town Badagry was written, which means the defendant was trying to mislead the court. Sule also urged the court to uphold that the confession statement of Baba Ijesha was voluntarily made and also to uphold the submission of the prosecution. All Mr. Sule was trying to let the court know is that they should take whatever Baba Ijesha had said initially when he was first arrested at Banti as an evidence, and it should be looking into. And this is what they did December 15 on the sitting, and the court has decided that it is admissible and relevant to the ongoing trial. So the trial within trial has ended and has closed, and by next year January 26 they will continue from where they took the initial trial. Also, recalling that there was a particular Mr. Brown who was supposed to appear in court as he was said to be jittery and threatened, so this is the reason why he had not come to witness against Baba Ijesha. But the court gave an order that the next adjournment he should appear in court. Well, there isn't much said about Mr. Brown Asokwo concerning his appearance and being a witness against Baba Ijesha in this recent sitting. Recalling that Mr. Brown Asokwo was said to have scared of appearing in court because he feels his life is being threatened. But the defendant are of the opinion that since the DPP, that is the state, are the one prosecuting Baba Ijesha, they should be able to provide adequate security for this person if this person's life feels threatened, and it shouldn't be an excuse on their part. Well, we are yet to hear anything about Mr. Brown so-called appearing in court as a witness against Baba Ijesha. We hope that this ends in true justice for the girl, that is the minor in question, and whatever it is, if truly Baba Ijesha was not guilty of this, may he be vindicated, as we hope so. Well guys, there you have it. Do not forget to like, subscribe and drop a comment in the comment section below. Thank you. Bye.